Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark GOLDBRIDGE. Man City face relegation.
Yes, people, that is right. We're going to do a GOLDBRIDGE reaction because a lot of you guys have asked me to watch this video. And look at the title of the video. Relegated, Man City in serious trouble. Let's see exactly what he's saying here.
For their 1-1-5 Chargers, we're going to delve into that massive story coming out about this. You may have seen.
I imagine that he's going to chat a load of nonsense about this, yeah, and not know what he's talking about, yeah, because a lot of you guys have said, LB, you need to watch this video. So let me see exactly what he's saying.
Seen it on TalkSPORT yesterday, so we're going to give our reaction to it. As former Man City financial advisor claims the club will be relegated at least if these charges are proven. So
if these charges are proven, okay, that's fair so far.
Let's get into that, but don't forget, GOLDBRIDGE Says Football's out. It's Friday, the podcast for Friday. Looking ahead to the weekend, massive injustice for Liverpool again. Arsenal, what are they doing? Trouble. And also VAR in the mud again. Arsenal, looking forward to the weekend.
Respectfully, we don't really care about his podcast right now. Yeah, we need to see what he's saying about this City thing.
GOLDBRIDGE, check it out. Links in the description. Join the podcast movement. But the movement we're talking about today is Man City. Will they go from top to rock bottom? Would they be relegated? Well, this was on TalkSPORT yesterday. They had former Man City financial advisor Stephen Borson was on the radio.
Stephen Borson. So we know he doesn't even know the guy's name. Okay, that's a good start.
Talking to Jim White and I think Simon Jordan was on there maybe. But basically, this is what he had to say.
So he's not watched the clip. He's not watched. So the first thing we can establish, right, he's done this video. I think it's had 300,000 viewers on this video that he's done. He's not even watched the clip. Because he don't know what the guy's name is, pronounce it wrong, and he doesn't even know who was on the show. So that's a great start to this.
Current reigning champions who've been charged with 115 alleged breaches of financial regulations. What would be the outcome of this? And he said, this is a former financial advisor for Manchester City. He said the scale is on a completely different level to Everton and Nottingham Forest. There's no question, if these charges are proven, this will end in at least relegation for Manchester City.
He did say that, but he also said something else, right? He also said, because they asked him what he thought would happen. Would we be guilty or not guilty? So let me see if he goes into this before we cook him.
It's a suggestion of conspiracy over a 10-year period. They're suggesting that City's main sponsorships agreements are not for 50 to 60 million pounds, but are actually for 8 million. They've inflated them, and the whole thing was a sham, and a whole load of people lied. A whole load of executives from multiple companies were in on it. The club also lied to multiple parties, professionals, people doing due diligence to the company. The Premier League, UEFA, the FIFA. If proven, this would be super serious. Nobody would argue that. Man City themselves, in their submissions at court, would also say this is an allegation of the most serious nature.
Correct. Stefan is his name, by the way. Stefan did say that. He said, Manchester City said in their statement, this is a mad conspiracy. A mad conspiracy is what City said. City also said in their statement that they have irrefutable evidence. Okay. So at the moment, he's not really said too much. The only disappointing thing is, for me personally, with the size of the audience that watches GOLDBRIDGE, I don't think he's done himself any favours in not watching the clip. He should know who the person is. He should at least know how to pronounce his name. He should know who actually was on the table, because he didn't. That's disappointing for me that he didn't actually watch the full thing to understand what was fully said to get the full context. He's not seen it, clearly, because he didn't know. So that's disappointing, I would say, so far. But so far, he's not said anything. He's just summarising what's happened so far. So far, he's fine.
But there is a big but coming here, of course, because that all sounds really, really bad. However, this is what he said. I think they will clear their name, though, because a case of this nature is going to need a level of proof which to him seems impossible to present to an independent commission. Furthermore, it seems highly unlikely that the conduct that is alleged has taken place over a 10-year period with sorts of individuals that are involved in the club that will also be the starting point of the independent commission. For any court or tribunal to suggest that this number of people have been in this dishonest is a massive, massive call. So,
okay, so he's give the facts there. I'm happy with that. He's not said anything about his opinion yet, which I'm going to come on to because I'm sure that he's going to speak about it. But so far, video's fine. Disappointed that he's not watched the full thing. Disappointed that he didn't do his proper research to see exactly who this guy is. He doesn't even know the guy's name properly. He didn't know who was on the actual show. That's disappointing. He should be watching the clips fully. He should be understanding exactly what happened, the context of how the conversation developed. In my opinion, just due to the scale of his audience, he has a lot of influence, Goldbridge, yeah, because a lot of people watch him. This video's got 300,000 views. So far, so good, though, other than the slight disappointment on the fact that he's not watched the video. And he doesn't really pronounce the guy's name right, which is, I guess, not a big deal. But I think you should at least watch the video.
Interesting, isn't it? You know, I think the key bits for me are that as an outsider, I think any not Man United fan, but probably any Man United fan, but any football fan looked at a lot of what Manchester City were doing. And on the eye test, we don't need stats. On the eye test, it looked weird from 2008 to 2018 specifically, how much money was going into Man City. We see it every year. We see it every year how Real Madrid, Man United, top earning clubs, and Man City have been there for years. And you go, I don't understand this. I don't understand this. I walk around, I go abroad. Nobody talks about Man City. You very rarely see anybody in a Man City.
That's just not true though anymore. That's just not true. It might have been true 10 years ago. That's just simply not true anymore. It's not true. You know what I mean? You can go abroad, right? You can go wherever. There's city things ever. So one of my mates from America, yeah, sent me this a map of America. The most searched team on FBref in America by state was pretty much every single one was City. People are interested in the football club. We just won the treble. This isn't true. Might have been true 10 years ago. Yeah, it might have been true, but like as we won that first Premier League, as soon as we won that first Premier League in 2012, the club just took off. So I don't agree with that. I think that's complete nonsense. I think he's living like in 20 years ago. It's a different club, man.
Top. I see Arsenal, I see Liverpool, I see Chelsea, I see Man United. I don't see people talking about Man City. How are Man City making the revenue they're making? It doesn't logically make sense. And that's exactly what he's saying there, you know, these sponsorship deals that were worth 50, 60.
That's not what he said. Stefan didn't mention anything about not seeing any City shirts when he goes on holiday. He never said that once. That's BS. That is BS. He never once said that. In that whole TalkSPORT thing, Stefan never mentioned anything about going on holiday and not seeing any City tops. Ridiculous. That's a false statement there. It's a false statement.
Really should have been 8. But they were inflated because of relationships that Man City had.
It's got nothing to do with the point that he's just made. So now he's talking about the fact that Etihad Airways sponsorship was actually possibly 8 million instead of 60 million. What's that got to do with? What's that got to do at all with the fact that you don't see City shirts, or he doesn't see City shirts when he goes on holiday? It's complete nonsense. Complete nonsense.
Well, know that is what we think. I think it. I'm sure you think it as well.
I don't think it.
But can it be proven? And look, it's very interesting what he said, because he's saying, look, if they get done with this, it's way worse than Everton and Nottingham Forest. Of course it will be relegation. If you're giving 10 points to Everton, you've got to probably send Man City to the National League. But do you have any confidence? I mean, he is saying, presenting this to a commission and it being, you know, convincing is going to be difficult. And I think just reading it, it's the volume of what Man City have done is going to make it very, very hard for the Premier League to prove, because there's so many charges.
That's right. I think he's right on that one. You know, this is what Stefan said. He said they've gone for the big time here. It's not up to Manchester City to defend ourselves. It's not up to Manchester City to provide the evidence to prove we're innocent. It's up to the Premier League to prove that we're guilty. That's how it works. They're saying, you've cheated, you've done this. So you need to prove it. You need to prove that what you've just alleged us and accused us of is true. So prove it. And are they going to be able to get that evidence? Are they going to be able to prove that Sheikh Mansour put money through Etihad through the back door? Are they going to prove that? It's up to the Premier League to prove that this is the thing.
And there's so many people involved. Sometimes less is more. And the complexity of this and how the Premier League are going to deliver it and prove it clearly has many people with experience in the industry and the legal profession going, I can see Man City being cleared from this because they won't be able to prove it. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened. I've said this on many... This seems to happen in football too much. Innocent before you're proven guilty is obviously democracy. That's part of UK law. But it doesn't mean somebody hasn't done something. if you're out tonight in a pub and you see somebody punch someone in the face, and that person who gets punched in the face just goes to the toilet, brushes it down, and never takes it to police, and it never goes to court.
What is he waffling?
Doesn't mean the person's innocent. Just means.
Okay. So what he's trying to do here now for me is trying to plant the seed that if City get not guilty, that we're still guilty. Yeah. If City get not guilty, but I guess to a certain degree he's right. Just because you get found not guilty doesn't necessarily mean that you're innocent. But ultimately, if we don't get found guilty, then we are innocent because nothing's been proved, right? But yeah, I mean, to a certain degree he's right. But I don't like this narrative that people are now trying to plant of, well, if they get found not guilty, it's because they paid someone, or or they've done something dodgy, or you just got away with it. No, it's up to the Premier League to prove it. If we're guilty, they'll prove it. If we're not guilty, they won't prove it. But I guess to a certain degree he's probably right. But I don't like the fact that the people go down that route.
Means it's not gone to court, or they've not been able to prove it, etc., etc. So look, I think this is going to be really interesting whether Man City get off or not. I think most of us expect Man City to get off. I've been saying it for years. I think they'll get off or get found not guilty or whatever you want to call it. But I will also say, like everybody else, just without doing a stream, without talking to mates about it, I've always observed the Man City thing and gone, I just don't get it. I don't get how I get why they're making money now. They're winning trebles, they're winning Premier Leagues, etc. But in the early days, and these charges are from the early days, I'm talking about their first 5, 6, 7 years. I never understood why they were getting these big sponsorship deals. I never understood why they were making so much money, because don't. Man City in my lifetime have never been a club that you go, yeah, huge worldwide fan base.
Well, this is what they got to prove. They got to prove if they're saying those sponsorship deals were dodgy, they've got to prove it. It's up to them to prove it. If they're saying it's dodgy, and people are saying it's so dodgy, it's triple, 4 times the value of what it should have been. Prove it then. You should be able to prove it. Can they prove it? This is the question. I don't think they're going to be able to prove it. This is what Stefan's saying as well. I don't think they're going to be able to prove it.
The popularity of Dickoff and Gota is on a different scale. I mean, you go to America and Gota's as popular as Beckham. It's incredible. Like, Man City had no, pardon the pun, blueprints before 2008. They had a very loyal and big Manchester fan base. They got relegated to what's the equivalent of League One and could fill a 30,000 stadium, but they wouldn't be able to fill a 70,000 stadium. That's not what they would do. Man United could do that. Man City can't do that. And to believe that, we're suddenly rich. And, not only have we just found millions of pounds, we found millions of fans as well. This is why the sponsorship deals are so big. Bollocks. It's a load of bullshit. And the problem that you've
I don't know if you can fully accept what he's saying there as true. At the end of the day, football's a growing sport across the world. I speak to loads of fans that are not from the UK. How did you start supporting City? It's not all because we're good. A lot of people support City because of completely random reasons. Just like people support Man United, by the way. Yeah? You think that everyone supports Man United, around the world because they were born in Manchester and they emigrated? No, there's different reasons that people support different clubs. So City now have a growing fan base. I accept that our fan base is still smaller than United, Liverpool, Arsenal. I accept that. You know what I mean? I think you should accept that as a City fan, but it's not really. I don't really care about it, by the way. It's got literally don't keep me awake at night. But I think he's missing the point that football's a very fast-growing sport across the world, and City have grown very quicker than other clubs have grown because of social media and obviously TV and sort of stuff. So I think he's missing that a little bit there.
But if and when Man City do get cleared, I don't think anyone are going to think they're not guilty. I think it's just going to be they got away with it.
Yeah, exactly, because that's what the media have done. The media have done that, and you're doing it yourself on this video by saying, well, if they do get found not guilty, that doesn't mean they're innocent. But you're doing it. The reason why people are not going to think we're innocent is because people like you and other people in the media, yeah, mainstream media as well, are saying stuff like that. So this is why City's name has been tarnished now, and this is why a lot of City fans, if we do get found not guilty, want the club to do something, that addresses this issue, because it's not right. You're innocent until proven guilty. If they don't prove that you're guilty, you're still innocent. You can't just go around and say, well, they're still guilty, even though they didn't get found guilty. They just didn't get to prove it. That's not how it works, man. We could start making all sorts of mad allegations up about people and businesses if that's the case. You've got to have a little bit of process, and if you got to trust the outcome. If you don't trust the outcome, country's failed.
And that's on the Premier League to prove. So I found it really interesting what this guy had to say, because I think he's absolutely right. We all know if Man City get done, they're out, they're gone. But I think we all know they're too powerful for that to happen. I think Man City...
I don't think it's got anything to do with power. I think he's wrong there again. It's got nothing... Because this, again, is what he's doing, and this is what other people are doing. If we get away with it, it's because we're powerful. It's because we've got all the money. No. It's up to the Premier League to prove it. If they prove it, the independent commission will go with that and say, they proved it. You're guilty. They proved it. It's nothing about powerful. Because basically, what I'm getting from that is that you're inferring that, is this independent commission dodgy? Are you telling me that these solicitors, who are going to be on this independent commission, this finance director who's going to be on this, are you telling me that they're dodgy people? So City are paying them off? Is this what we're alleging? Because by saying City are powerful, it infers to me that you mean that City are going to have influence over this commission, or influence and do something which stops the correct decision being made at the commission stage. If they've got the evidence, if the Premier League have got the evidence, which they should do if they're going this far, then they should be able to prove it to the independent commission. And whether City are in League 5 or in the Premier League, just won the Champions League, don't matter how powerful you are. They've got the evidence, you bang to rights. Simple as. It's nothing about power.
Are going to be way too powerful for the Premier League, and they're going to get the best lawyers. And
of course we'll get the best lawyers. Everton have got some of the best lawyers on their case. Again, this is just a complete ridiculous statement for people to make. Like, what are you expecting us to do? Get the brand new guy who's just qualified from his university law degree? Ridiculous. City are a £1 billion organisation. We're not just going to get the cheapest lawyer. We're going to get the best of the best, as is our right, as is your right. If you get done for a crime, you could decide what you want to do. You want to spend all your life savings to get the best lawyer, go for it. You want to get the new guy, go for it. It's up to you. So this, again, about the lawyers, is complete nonsense. It really is.
I think are going to struggle, because I think that, as that financial advisor said, you're basically having to prove a conspiracy. You're having to prove that everybody knew about it over a number of years, and I don't know. I don't know whether they can do that. I mean, the embarrassing thing will be with 115 charges, it's like having 115 chances to hit the dartboard, and if they miss with all of them, well,
they're not going to miss with all of them, because the 115 thing is a bit of a myth. You know what I mean? Some of them are cooperation. We know City are going to get done for cooperation. Yeah, we know that. We've defended ourselves in the most sort of rigorous sort of state to try and defend ourselves as per legal advice. And of course, with that though comes that you're breaking the cooperation rule. So we know that happened with UEFA. We'll get a big fine. I actually think we're going to get a huge fine on that. Yeah, I think it'll exceed the Champions League 10 million quid fine. I think it's going to be like 20 million. I think it's going to be a lot. Yeah, I think the Premier League are going to trying to make a statement on that. But we will get guilty on the cooperation. I said that from day one.
If you miss with one, does that throw doubt into all the others? Because they're all intertwined. We're getting into legal argument here, but look, it's going to be interesting. But I've got to say, and I'm not disillusioned by this. I'm not upset by this. I don't actually expect them to get done, and I think it will be very embarrassing for the Premier League.
Yeah, he's right on that one. I'll give him that one. It would be very embarrassing for the Premier League to bring 115 charges against one of the top clubs in the division and lose. That is very embarrassing. Very embarrassing. And then I think questions are going to have to be asked if that happens. Again, City can't just take this lying down if we get not guilty and go, right, that's fine, we'll move on. No, you've been attacked with the most serious allegations. The day that this comes out, we get not guilty, I don't think that's the end. I think it's just a start.
All I would say is, under the current financial fair play rules, I think Man City would have been screwed. So, that's something to take away, isn't it? Under the current rules, Man City would have been in big trouble 10 years ago. So if Man City do get away with it, they've had 10 years of operating under different rules that have allowed...
If City get away with it, if City get found not guilty, yeah, we've got to stop saying this, get away with it. Yeah, that you're inferring that we're guilty. No one knows. I don't know. I'm not even saying we are guilty or anything, because I don't know. I've said that from day one. I have no idea. But to say we get away with it, that's saying you're guilty. Yeah, let's use the proper terminology. If City get found not guilty, then we can talk. Yeah, that's the way you should be speaking.
Them to get where they are, and now no one else can do it. That is a completely separate argument. Because nobody can argue that under the current financial fair play rules, Man City would have been in trouble 10 years ago. Now, they've built that legacy so that they can abide with the rules, but no one else can do what they've done. It's an unfair advantage, isn't it? And that's got
well, this is the funny thing. City were the intended targets of this FFP when it was first brought in. And people can come in the comments and say, no, they weren't, you chatting shit. Yes, they were, right? But what's that meant? That means City have built their football club on the basis of these rules. They've fully understood the rules, and they built the academy. They've been getting the players in. They've been selling all these academy players. And I think some of the top teams didn't really think about it that much. They just thought, oh, we'll be fine. And now, Arsenal can't spend money. Man United can't spend money. Yeah, we're City, we're chilling. We're selling players 50, 60 million quid every year from our academy. We're winning trophies. We're probably one of the best clubs right now in the Premier League for FFP. Because we've been built for it. We've been built for it because we've been dealing with this shit for a decade. Where other clubs are only starting to get to grips with it now.
To do with the charges. Interesting. What would I like to see happen? Justice, really. I'd like to see the truth come out, and I'd like to see justice delivered. But
that's fair. Justice. If you want, I didn't even show you that. He wants to see justice. That's fair. He wants to see the correct outcome, whether it's innocent or guilty. That's fair.
You don't always get that. And my feeling, as with many, has been that Man City will not end up with anything at the end of this. I think too many people are expecting it.
Well, if we're not guilty, that should be the correct decision. Facts, man.
Comments in below. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of comments on this from Man City fans as well. It's absolutely fine. Look, I'm not going to sit here and be a hypocrite. You know, I feel for Everton fans. I think it's unfair the way their club has been run. And as much as Man City fans are very smug because they're winning, we are jealous, of course we are. So you have that one on us. But also, if anything did happen to Man City, I know some Man City fans, and they're absolutely bang on. You know, they're not... They would be the victim. Of course they would. So, you know, Man City, you've got to fight your corner as a fan, haven't you?
Of course you do.
I get
First.
Talking about that, GOLDBRIDGE Saves Football podcast.
Assessing that video then. Disappointed that he's not watched the clip, yeah? Or it appears that he's not watched the clip because he didn't even know he was on the panel. So disappointed there. I think that someone with his profile really should be watching the full thing and understanding it. Especially when it's a topic as serious as this. I think you should at least know the guy's name. You know what I mean? If you're going to do a 10-minute video on it. Don't like the way he words stuff in terms of getting away with it. I think that's wrong because, again, that's where if we do get not guilty, people will just say, oh, we got away with it. No. It's up to the Premier League to prove it. If they don't prove it, we're innocent. That's how it works. I don't think you should be saying getting away with it. Yeah, that's not right. Did Man United get away with it when they breached FFP UEFA and only got a £200,000 breach? Did they get away with it there? No, they got the fine. They were guilty. Move on. So, yeah, it's the terminology which I'm not a massive fan of. He's right at the end. Obviously, I'm going to defend my club. I'm going to back them. I'm going to believe what they're telling me. Whether we're innocent or guilty, I don't know because, again, I wasn't there. I don't know what's going on. On the whole, out of 10, I'd probably give him a 5. Yeah, it wasn't terrible, wasn't horrific, but I didn't like the fact he didn't watch the video, and I don't like the fact that some of the terminology that he used. But guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. This video has been seen by 300,000 people. Do you think that he done a fair, accurate representation? I think he did an okay, but like I say, 5 out of 10 for me. Big marks knocked off because the fact he didn't watch the video and some of the terminology used. Get me your comments in down below. Smash a like on the video, and guys, I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.